Ring, ring, ring. Ding, ding, ding. That's what I want. Did I really know what PR was? Honestly, no. Probably not until the first internship, really. Good morning, everyone. I'm back. 2 videos, 2 weeks. We're on a roll. We're keeping this moving. We're keeping it grooving. That was cheesy. I'm so sorry. In today's video, I wanted to give a little background on me. If you don't know already, which is purely shocking because I do not shut up about it, but I have my own PR agency. I thought that I would give my little journey about how I went from a PR intern to an agency owner at the ripe age of 25. This is definitely a very unique situation. It's definitely not normal. It is not a situation that I thought was going to happen, but I thought I'd give a little insight at least into my background, how I got here. And let's say you're not trying to start an agency at 25, which most people are not, but you just want to break into the industry. This is what I did. This is the experience. This is what I tried out and kind of how I got at least to my first corporate job, you know? I went into this blind. I didn't have really anyone. There were a few people that were also in PR, but like I didn't really rely on them. I think that was a me problem, not a them problem. So this is my experience having no mentor. Let's just get into it. I have my iPad here. I bullet pointed my entire experience. Oops. I went to college. I went to Rutgers University. I got my degree in communications and political science, so a double major. And I also got my master's degree there. That was like an accelerated program. There, I think is MCM program. So in 5 years, I got my undergrad and graduate degree. The actual work experience that you get from internships is more applicable than what you learn in college. College is great for deadlines, testing out your writing skills, understanding how to write a press release, and those like very logistical, I don't know if that's the word, things. My internship experience. So I went to college from fall 2015 to spring 2019. My first internship I got spring 2017, my sophomore year at PR Consulting. This is a fashion PR agency in New York City. It was a great experience. I was able to work Fashion Week, understand the ins and outs of that, learn about stylists, learn about sample polls, learn about a lot of the different brands, learn about press days and everything like that. It was a great experience, but it was not the PR experience I wanted. My manager from that internship, in really guiding me, she kind of took me under her wing, and she, like most interns, were stuffed in this intern closet. I was sitting next to her the entire time and basically reading her emails with her, doing everything with her. I was right there. She was basically telling me, this is how I do things. If a problem comes up, this is how I'm addressing the problem. And she was really, really great about that. Forever thankful for her. Thank you, Jatan. And then my second internship was the summer of 2017, where I worked at Push the Envelope PR, which was a boutique PR agency. This is more in line of like what I do now. I felt like an employee there. I was not paid for any internship. I got really great experience that really prepared me. I learned how to monitor the media, learn how to draft pitches, build media lists. We were pulling samples, and I remember figuring out my style of pitching, and they let me roll with that style. They kind of gave me a format of like, this is how we structure our pitches. Content-wise, it's all on you. And I really think that really helped me with pitching today. Most of these internships I did 2 or 3 days a week because either it was really expensive to commute into New York or pay for gas, or I just needed money in general for college and life. So I would not be disheartened if you're offered a PR internship, it's unpaid, and you're asking for 5 days and you ask for 2 or 3 because you need to balance it. I don't think that's a bad sign. If they think of that poorly, then that's on them and it's not a reflection on you. You should be able to have balance in your internship, especially if they're not paying you. They should not expect 40 hours from you. Don't be afraid to cut down your hours. I did this at 2 or 3 of my internships. I think I had 4 in total. So third internship was my spring of 2018, my junior year. I also want to preface this. I don't know if it's normal to do your first internship your sophomore year. Rutgers, from what I gathered, although being a state school, party school, it was also quite competitive. It was definitely partially the people that I was surrounded by. All of my friends were in business or STEM programs, so they were all very competitive in terms of work and very dedicated and driven. So it definitely influenced me into thinking, oh, I should really get on top of this and get the ball rolling on my professional career. I don't know if that's normal. I think a lot of people actually get internships their junior year or senior year. I started earlier. I don't know if it's earlier, but I think I started earlier just because of the competitiveness that I was surrounded by with both my friends as well as just Rutgers in general. I don't know if you need 4 internships. If I had 2, I would have been fine, and I learned a lot at the first 2. I think I was more so like fine-tuning my skills, figuring out what I really liked at the other ones, and I had the privilege to do that. Back into what I originally said was I was working at LaRue PR, hands down the best internship I had. They are a boutique agency, very similar to what I'm doing now, and that was the best internship ever. One, it was a super chill environment. Half the time I was working in a beanbag, which as a college student, it's nice to be super chill. I came with pitching experience, so they kind of already trusted me, which I think gave me a little bit of an upper hand. 3 clients, pitch this angle, we want this angle, we want this angle. So I was basically an employee there. Again, unpaid, but I was kind of okay with that because I felt like this was really preparing me for when I graduate. Like, it was really great experience. I didn't feel like an intern. I wasn't treated like an intern. My opinions were valued there. They always asked for my insight. We had team brainstorms. We were there. It was such a great environment. That is what I want to model my agency to be like. The chillness, the friendliness. Like, it wasn't even like, oh, we're such a family here. It's just like we're friends here, which is like the not toxic way of being like, we have a really great environment. Great internship. I highly, highly recommend. If you go to college in New Jersey, if you live in New Jersey and want to get an internship, I recommend going to them because they were great. My next internship was the summer of 2018. I interned at Christian Siriano at their offices in New York. So this was very similar to our consulting. I knew I wanted to be in fashion all this entire time, so I was always trying to pursue fashion internships. Honestly, he was really nice to us interns. Got a better understanding about working in-house for a high fashion brand, and it really solidified that I didn't want to do that. That was very much so more like VIP relations, styling celebrities, press day. I was running some people's errands. I was just kind of sitting around waiting for things to happen. It did get frantic very randomly. Things were very serious. I was hand delivering stuff. If you want to go into VIP relations, definitely best to work in-house for a brand. But if you want to be pitching and doing activations and events and stuff like that, that's when you go more of like the agency route. I did get to see a bunch of really beautiful gowns and see them in person, and it was truly stunning. In the end, it helped me figure out what I didn't want, so I don't really regret it. Plus, I got to spend like a summer in the city. I was also working part-time, so that's another internship experience where they wanted me in more days. I said I could only do 2 days because I needed to work. My full-time experience. I graduated in 2019 from my undergrad while still pursuing my master's program. The program that I was in was basically like you apply to get into this program at the end of your junior year. Very simple process if you are going from Rutgers to Rutgers. Applying to Rutgers master's program separate from that. Definitely different in like the normal route of GREs and studying and all that. Once I got in at the end of my junior year, 4 of my 400 level courses, basically like my senior year communications courses, counted towards credits to my master's program. So I think in total I needed 36 credits for my master's program, which was about 12 classes, and 4 of them were already accounted for my senior year. I took 2 classes over my summer semester, 3 in the fall, 1 in the winter, and then 3 again in the spring, so that I was set to graduate May 2020. While I was pursuing my master's degree, was applying to jobs. I wanted to work full time. So I got my first job, so to say, as a temp PR assistant at Anthropologie in their offices in New York. We were pitching, we were doing meeting lists, but we were also fielding samples and we were doing events. It was honestly really fun. That was a great like transition from school to full-time. After Anthropologie, I started working at this mid-sized agency, which is honestly, I literally wrote greatest PR experience I've ever had. Learned so much. I structure a lot of my agency after them. I went in there working with their food and bev team. I learned so much because PR is very similar in like your practices, but the strategies and like flexing your brain that way is very different. And I highly recommend testing out different options. Just the way the structure was at that agency, they really did it right. And they are a very successful agency for a reason. That's the job that I quit after wanting more fulfilling clients and more creativity. I don't blame the agency for that at all. I wanted to work in fashion. I kind of didn't feel like I was going to be able to do that. I wanted to work at like a more boutique creative agency. I felt like at the boutique PR agency internships that I had, it was they took a more creative route as opposed to like, I wouldn't say corporate, but we weren't like actively pitching. It was more as launches happened. The brands that we worked with were very well established. So like pitching and like getting the brand's name out there wasn't as much as a necessity. So like the strategy was different. I wanted a more creative, like active strategy, while the clients I worked on there didn't need that. So that is why I left that job. It is nothing on that job in itself. The start of my agency, October 2020, I quit, started freelancing with some agencies, and just until I could find an agency that I felt was what I was looking for. And then I was like, hey, maybe I can try and get my own client. And then March 2021, I booked my first client, Holy Chic. So I continued to search for full time. I had no plans of starting my own agency whatsoever. If anything, that was like, oh, I'll do that when I'm like 35 and I've been in the industry for 15 years and I'm a president, and what else do you do? Didn't plan on starting this. August 2021 came around. I was able to build up a pretty decent network of people, connections in the South Asian space, in the freelancing space. And when Holy Chic was at Fashion Week, completely changed the trajectory of my career. Fashion Week, it gave me credibility, it boosted me as a publicist. I was able to build an even larger network of influencers, industry friendlies, brand friendlies, and I just made a ton of connections and real life friends through working with them. It got the ball rolling, and then October 1st, 2021 is when I launched as her PR. I gave myself a deadline. I was like, if you're gonna do this, you're gonna do it. I wasn't expecting brands to come rolling in. I was not. I had a good network, like I said, but I knew that I still had a lot of work to do. So October through December, I spent closing out my clients, unsure if they were going to re-sign in the new year, and then also preparing myself for the new year. And then in 2022, I was going to hit the ground running. I made a full list of clients, potential clients, networks, agencies to reach out to. At this point, I wasn't thinking it was going to be an agency. I thought it was going to be a solo agency. So freelancing for agencies was still on my radar. January 2022 started, and it started the year that I had no idea was going to be my year. If you watch my previous video, New Year's resolutions, you kind of get a glimpse into like the work experience that I got. Top line overview, January, 4 clients, 2 agency partners. In just 3 months, I'm reading this right off of here, I got 10 clients, made more money in those first 3 months than I did in the entirety of 2021. In just those 3 months. That was when I was like, oh shit, I actually think this is going to work. And I think this is going to be a lot bigger than I thought it's going to be. My confidence started to build. My confidence as a publicist, my confidence as an entrepreneur, my confidence as a 24-year-old navigating life. August 2022 is really when I was like, I know my shit. That's when I hit my first 5-figure month. I had amazing projects that I was working on, super cool events that I was working on, long-term clients that I was working on. Things felt normal and stable. Now we are in January of 2023 and we are still rolling, still going strong. I now have 2 employees and we're building. That is my journey from PR intern to PR agency owner. Like I mentioned in the beginning, this is not a normal track. This is not normal. This is a very unique situation. I don't think if the pandemic didn't happen, I would be in this situation. I think maybe when I'm 35, I would have done it, but who knows? Key takeaways. Personally, I don't recommend my master's degree. If you have a communications degree in something other than PR and you want to get into PR, then I recommend the specialization in PR. If you specialized in PR like I did and you still want to get your master's degree, then I recommend doing it. Then a different subject than PR. Mass communications, digital communications, journalism. But don't do PR and PR. Do PR and something else or something else and PR. Don't stack them the same. Number 2, try a variety of different internships. I know a lot of people intern at one place and they continue to intern there in hopes of getting a full-time job, which yes, does help, but I don't think it makes or breaks you, especially in PR. When you don't know the exact type of PR you want to be in, I think you really need to test it out. Try it all so that you can actually test out what kind of PR you want to do. I guarantee what you think you want to do is not going to be exactly what you want to do. I thought PR consulting is what I wanted to do, and I ended up really wanting to do what LaRue PR was doing. It does not hurt you. It is better to do it when you are an intern than when you are a post-grad and you are more stressed about financial situations. Try them out. Number 3, although I wanted to work in fashion, I do not regret working in the consumer or food or bev industry. It really fine-tunes your skills, and I understand my clients better because of that. Try it out. Sure, I always wanted to be in fashion and I ended up working in fashion, but I don't regret being in the consumer side and working with those larger brands. Those are my key takeaways. That was a lot. I rambled on for a long time. That is my journey from intern to agency owner. If you have any other questions about anything I discussed in here, any clarifications you need, if you have any questions that I didn't answer, please drop them down below. I would love to do a PR Q&A, answer all of your questions, be your mentor. I would love to be your mentor in the PR industry from someone who didn't have a mentor and was kind of winging it and still kind of is. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I was able to help you out, give you some clarity, let you know a little bit more about the PR industry, you know a little bit more about me, and I will talk to you next week with another new video. Toodles!